Chapter 7, Scheana in the Middle. When a scandal erupts in a fan group, it rarely impacts only the people at the center. Often the collateral damage falls on those who are quietly loyal, quietly kind, quietly caught in the crossfire. For Scheana Shay, that collateral damage was enormous. Scheana had been a consistent presence in Vanderpump Rules for years. She had celebrated milestones with Ariana and Sandoval, comforted Rachel in moments of heartbreak, and navigated the complexity hierarchy of the cast with a mix of humor and grace. But when Scandoval's scandal became public, all of that changed. Overnight, Scheana found herself forced to choose sides, to define friends, and to face legal and social pressures she never anticipated. The restraining order filed by Rachel Leviss against Scheana became one of the most sensational aspects of the aftermath. For fans, it was a shocking detail. Someone outside of direct affair suddenly embroiled in a legal battle. For Scheana, it was deeply personal. Scheana had tried to support Ariana, her longtime friend, after the revelation of the affair. At the same time, she still had a history with Rachel. She had helped navigate past breakups, met her in subtle ways, and believed in her potential. That dual loyalty became impossible to maintain when Rachel accused her of aggression. The emotional weight was crushing. She has described the time as intense and isolating. She faced cameras filming her every reaction while she tried to maintain a sense of composure. On top of that, online harassment and social media scrutiny made it nearly impossible to separate personal trauma from public narrative. Fans debated her intentions, her character, and her morality, when in reality, she had spent years being quietly supportive of everyone in the group. Being in the middle isn't just about making choices between people. It's about being aware of consequences for every action. For Scheana, every word, every facial expression, every small action could be and often was analyzed as an allegiance or betrayal. Her loyalty to Ariana was never in question. She stood by her friend and validated Ariana's pain. But that loyalty unintentionally alienated Rachel, even as Scheana tried to explain herself. In a way, she was punished for trying to remain neutral, for trying to act with integrity in a situation where internet demanded extremes, hero or villain, and nothing in between. And yet, through it all, Scheana endured. She didn't lash out publicly. She didn't exploit the story for attention. She didn't let the drama define her entirely. Her ability to navigate the emotional chaos of the scandal quietly with dignity was remarkable in a way. What most viewers fail to understand is that behind every headline, every Instagram story, every podcast clip, there are real people dealing with real emotions. Scheana was not just a friend stuck in the middle. She was a human being faced extraordinary pressure, legal scrutiny, and fractured friendships, all while being watched by a million strangers. She worried about her relationships with Ariana, Sandoval, and the rest of the cast. She wondered how the public perceived her and whether she would ever be able to regain the trust and camaraderie she had before the scandal. And she had faced those questions while filming, recording, and maintaining a presence on a show that thrived on personal drama. Scheana's experience highlights a key aspect of the Scandoval story. Not everyone affected is at the center of the scandal. Some people get caught in the emotional crossfire, forced to navigate loyalty, friendship, and morality under intense scrutiny. For her, it was a lesson in resilience, empathy, and understanding the limits of friendship. She had to make choices quickly, balance competing interests, and maintain her own emotional health, often at great personal cost. In many ways, Scheana's story is the hidden thread that connects all the aftermaths of the scandal. Her friendship with Ariana helped Ariana navigate betrayal. Her understanding of Sandoval provided a stabilizing force, and her interactions with Rachel highlighted the complexity of mental health, emotional trauma, and the consequences of public exposure. As the show moved into season 11, Scheana's role became both prominent and subtle. She was present, but often under the radar. She had influence, but it was a quiet influence. She wasn't the story, but she helped shape how the story unfolded. Her story reminds readers that reality television, for all its spectacle, is still about humans living messy, complicated lives. Scheana endured judgment, scrutiny, and legal challenges, and came out of the other side with a reputation for grace and under pressure. In the end, Scheana Shay exemplifies the uncelebrated strength required to survive being caught in the middle of a scandal. While the cameras captured moments of confrontation, the true story lies in the quiet resilience of someone who refused to let public perception dictate her values, friendships, personal growth. And when you look at season 11, to have the conflict, internal conflict that Scheana went through with her own battles, the revelation that Brock had an affair during the midst of this entire scandal, growing professional jealousy in a way towards Ariana, losing her sense of control with her OCD, with trying to find a nanny for Summer during that season, and navigating how to hold a 15-plus year relationship and friendship with Tom Sandoval was one of the core things that people, I think, overlooked in season 11. You have a woman that's having her world being devoured on live television in real time, and instead of placating to the internet's wants and caving into the mob mentality, Scheana tried to give Tom a second chance to give him grace and look through him through a human lens. And they had deep conversations at Lake Tahoe, that deep chat in San Francisco before the finale, where she was telling Tom, you know, for him to take a step back and realize that he shouldn't have been victimizing Ariana's mental health because he couldn't handle the backlash that was coming his way for actions that he did. The Scheana story and being stuck in the middle is one of the more overarching narratives in a lot of ways that ties Scandoval and what made it what it was. Because as she dealt with personal strife during this entire situation, she was one of the most loudest voices in the entire situation because she talked about it the most and profited most of it on the podcast. So to Scheana Shay, she refused to let the public perception dictate her values, friendships, or personal growth.